Greetings, all of my fellow Kung Fu warriors. This is Sage Armageddon coming to you again with another dojo session. This was going to be a bit of more of a discussion about Chun Li in general. Not too much to go over in terms of her kit or setups and things like that. I just kind of wanted to talk about this character. And so this is completely off the cuff. It's not scripted, so I probably won't edit it much unless there are some really big errors here. But excuse me. So this character is kind of ass a little bit. And let me explain what I mean. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Chun Li, right? You see, this character, the reason why I picked her in the beginning was because when I first started playing Street Fighter 6 2 years ago at launch was because I didn't know who to pick, and Drive Impact was a big problem that I had to deal with. Right, this effing crap right here is the bane of my freaking existence. Even after even after about 2 years of playing, so to speak, maybe a little bit over 2 years. I'm just now barely maybe able to respond to that. And only if my opponent is literally doing it after hitting me about 5 times, doing it in terms of a flow chart. Like after they do something like let's say that they whiff a Shoryuken with Ken or something like that, right? Like this, and then they just do Drive Impact afterwards to try to mash their way out when someone goes to punish them, right? So only when they're super obvious, or if they do Drive Impact and I happen to hit a few buttons to it, it slows it down a little bit, gives me a few more frames to react to it. So it's the bane of my existence. So that's the reason why at the beginning I picked Chun Li, because I was trying to find a way to deal with it, because dealing with it by countering it with this was insanely hard for me. Like I said, it's still ridiculously hard for me now. But even though I've reached masters and I've been playing and training like crazy, as you can see here, I even have the dummy set up to try to. This is a Moki training drill, one of the best Chun Li players in the world. And this bot is also set to do Drive Impact as well as anti-airs and all that stuff. So I train to counter Drive Impact. It's not like I'm just complaining about it. I actively try to find a solution to it. But biologically, I seem to have a problem responding to this move for some reason. Right? So without getting into it too much further, that's the reason I picked her, was because lightning kicks, I thought it would be a viable option to help deal with that trash because it hits multiple times. That's the truth of the reason why I picked Chun Li, and I've been with her ever since. But every day, like, I really ponder why I play this character. To be honest with you, is like I I've invested a lot into her, and I don't want to try to invest in another character, but like she is unnecessarily hard for literally no freaking reason whatsoever, right? Like let me go ahead and elaborate here. Just we're just going to do some real talk, right? Um, I know there are people that might come across this video that are Chun-Li enthusiasts, and they might think that I'm just being bitter, or I need to do better, or I need to train more, or something like that. Look, the truth of the matter is something can be BS, but it can be utter dog trash. But human beings have the capability of overcoming detriment. We have the ability to overcome adversity. Even though things are bad, even though things are horrendously annoying to deal with in our day-to-day life, whether it's in video games or life, we have the ability to grow beyond it. But that doesn't mean that the crap is not freaking ridiculously stupid and unfair, right? So this character is unnecessarily hard. I just have to speak honestly about it. I have a love-hate relationship with this character. She's cool. She's flashy. She gives me the infinite high ceiling to continue to keep trying to reach for something. But just like Jin in Tekken 7, I seem to have a habit of picking characters that are only really strong when you have extremely proficient players using them, right? Like, For example, you're going to have a lot of pro players telling you that Chun Li is a really good player, like Justin Wong. Obviously, you're going to have other pro players, super high level Street Fighter players that have been playing for decades, saying that this character is strong. These are people that will. Let me go ahead and give you an example. I'm going to get Ken to record some stuff here. But first off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. Okay. What else? Okay. And we're going to turn, let me see, replay settings. We're going to turn these three off. All right. So players like Moki, Justin Wong, any other Chun Li users, Val Master, highly ultra proficient players, right? Been playing for decades. Type of people that lap monster this game like crazy, right? So, and those that don't know, a lap monster is pretty much somebody that is just always in the lab figuring out how to deal with everything or how to use certain moves or setups to a degree that that other players just don't even come close to learning about. Those are usually where you find the hidden tech from, but I digress. So these people are freaking prodigious, freaking god tier geniuses, right? When it comes to this game, so and they are highly experienced. So when they say Chun Li is good, they're playing in an environment where stuff like this barely exists. Just round one, fight. This is all you see in low elo Street Fighter right here. You see people skipping neutral all day long. Whether it's jumping, whether it's doing that, whether it's raw drive rush. And I watch these players like Moki, for example, they play mind games at the highest level. So sometimes you might see something like that slip out, but it's a part of a bigger mind game. They're playing like Grandmaster chess, right? So the moment this Ken player started the match with a random dragon dash, it got parried, and then he proceeded to go to the corner and lose that entire round, right? These are players where this stuff is not going to work against them. They are not only just going to counter you for doing it, they are going to punish you to the absolute highest degree for even thinking of trying to do this prep. You're going to the corner, you're losing a ton of health, right? So, in that environment, yes, this character is probably going to shine a little bit more, because let's go ahead and set the dummy to do some stuff here, right? They're probably going to shine a little bit more because in the environment that these high level players play at, that random stuff that you just saw, that is, they don't do that stuff like that. It's rare. They have to earn their way into their opponent's space, right? If you try to jump, you're getting bodied. If you try to do her sensu, you're getting bodied. If you try to do a raw drive rush, they're going to kill you for it. So you have to engage in footsies and try to find a way to win the neutral, right? We're not going to talk about Chun-Li's neutral, and this video is going to be for another one, but you have to find a way to win the neutral, get the knockdown, get the plus frames, and then put your opponent into a quote-unquote blender, right? I say quote-unquote because Chun-Li doesn't have a real blender. Once she knocks you down, once she grabs you, it resets the neutral. So she can't just keep throwing you and making strike throw guests on you all day long. When she throws you, it resets the neutral, right? So
what are you waiting for?
She already doesn't have that, which makes her harder to use than almost every other character in the game that does have that. Everybody else except Honda has a strike throw mix up where they can just keep throwing you all day. So she's lacking that. But also, like I said, these pro players are, they're playing footsies. They're getting it. They're staying out of the race. They're baiting people they're baiting people to use a button, and then they're whiff punishing it, right? Doing crazy stuff like that, right? That's how they're doing it up there. up there in that environment, because of how good these people are and the fact that they hesitate to do that crap less, they actually shine a lot more. I'll give you another example. Since I'm in Master with Chun Li, even though people still do it, these are usually people that are like 1,300 points or less that will just randomly press drive impact. But most of the people that I fight in Master don't do that. If they are even remotely decent, they don't just mass drive impact. So it allows me to play better up there because they don't use that crap. But when I'm playing against really low elo players and casual, like maybe diamond players or platinum, this is all these people effing do. And I get blown up by it constantly. This is literally the only reason that I lose to low elo players. If I was able to check this the way that I quote unquote should, I legitimately would not lose to them. That's how they kill me every single time. Unless you have a Smurf. There are some people that you'll find in Platinum that are picking a character, but they're actually like master level or something like that. But if they are legitimately low elo, they will not win against me unless they've involved this. So I actually perform worse more often than not when I'm fighting low elo players that are just mashing stupid stuff than people that actually have some idea to not be ridiculously, you know, throwing games by using drive impact randomly. And we're not talking about people, oh, they recognize you can't deal with it, so they're doing it. These people will do it even if I manage to counter it. There's sometimes when, this is just a bit of trivia for me, there's something unique about me. This isn't supposed to be a boast because I have my own weaknesses. I've already told you that my reaction speed is kind of piss poor. So it's not supposed to just be an empty boast, but this is just an observation. I seem to have a tendency to, the more motivated that I become, magic stuff starts happening. I start being able to do things that I can't do normally. And that involves reacting to this. I've had games where my opponent has gotten me to a breaking point, so to speak, master players or something like that, that have found out that I can't stop this. And literally every time they do it, I would counter immediately. It's not something that I can do normally. But back to the main point. So I lose to low elo players because they do this. The reason why I bring it up is because since I can't deal with this, lower ranked players are able to cook me. But when I fight players at a higher level, it's not, it's not too bad because I don't have to worry about this being used against. I use that just as an example to show you that how when you're playing at specific levels of play, a character's proficiency will shine more or less depending on what character it is. Right? It's the same thing in Tekken. For those that are familiar with Tekken, you have characters that have strings, like Leo, Josie, Katarina. Some of these are Tekken 7 characters. Tekken 8, I can't think of the what's his name? I forgot his name. He's the Victor. That's right, the spy and character, Victor. Characters like these, they have these strings that they can mix you up with. And in low elo, it is an easy win. You just do 1, 2. You just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and your opponent has to guess what's happening, right? But if you fight a pro player doing that crap, it goes from an asset to a liability because what's going to happen is you're literally telegraphing to them what you're trying to do, and they know exactly how to counter it. So whenever you do that, you're just giving them free damage. But when you fight somebody that doesn't have that knowledge in Tekken, you are getting a free win because if they don't know how to stop it, you're dead. Right? They can just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. It's kind of like that here, though. In Street Fighter, it's not so much a knowledge check more often than not. It's more of a mechanical type of situation, right? So when you have Ken, randomly doing this crap right here, you have to be able to stop it. Now, it's going to be a little bit easier because this is literally all he's doing, so it's easier for me to respond to it. Right, but you're in the middle of a match and they just randomly jump and you're picking Chun Li. It's very hard for me to deal with that. So these pro players are playing in an environment where they know how to check all this bullcrap because they just have things set up for themselves, and or they were born with a Sharingan. They're an Uchiha from Naruto, right? Reaction speeds that are 200 milliseconds or less. Mine, just for a bit of, just for your knowledge, mine is around 280 to 300 milliseconds, which is lower than the average human, even people that don't play video games, right? So you have these people that some of them go up to 160 millisecond reaction speed. Right? So that plus their raw experience and just knowledge playing the game for decades means this crap's not going to work against them. So if people want to get the win, they have to invade your space, but they can't do so brazenly because they're gonna lose the game for it. So they have to play footsies, right? As I stated before. This is where Chun Li shines because obviously she's got pretty good normals. We're not gonna go over her normals in this one, but that's pretty much it. She is just like Jin and Kazuya from Tekken 7. She is a fundamental character that she becomes stronger the stronger that the player is at Street Fighter. The character herself, though, is not that strong, right? Whereas you have people, I'm sure that people watching this, especially those that are looking for advice with Chun-Li, that are climbing through low elos, or that are struggling in master below high master rank, right? Below 1600 MR. You fight people that just do stupid crap like this, right? They do this bull crap all effing day long, right? They get ready, fight. How is this? Right? They just bogart their way in, and now you have to guess, right? You lost the neutral. So, with most players, what would happen in that situation is it would be a 50-50 type of thing to balance it out. Actually, let's pick somebody else. Who else is brain dead? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right. It's 50-50. Ken might get this on you, and now you lost the round because you have to guess. But then the Maya player might get this on you, and now you lost the round because she threw a fan. So it balances out. Neither player knows what the freak they're doing, but they know how to cheese. So if one of them gets the cheese off, then it balances out. It's a fair game. When you're playing Chun-Li, this is not something that can happen. This character does not have a game plan that is cheesy. Her game plan says, hey, you better know how to play Street Fighter, buddy. Because people are going to throw out this dumb crap against you. And if you don't know how to deal with this in the most efficient and proficient ways, you're going to lose the game. Because you can't even the odds. You can't do all that, right? Sure, she can drive rush. But like I said, the reason why the drive rush is scary is because, let's say your opponent blocks, right? We're going to go for a strike throw mix-up here. Okay, I'm going to need you to stop pressing, buddy. Appreciate that. All right, let's say you want to do something like this. That's it. Anything you do after this is fake. If you do this, it's fake. They can mash after that. And there's nothing you can do about it. Right? They don't even have to mash. Let's go ahead and give an example. We're going to do just a crouching, like... There we go. Kim. Let's go for a grab. Nope. Let's go for a button. Trade. Then obviously if you're trading with a jab, then everything else is going to get... He's going to get, right? There is no mix-up after that. All they have to do is block. I mean, or push a button, right? If you drive rush at them, they can just press something. That's it. She doesn't have a throw leg, right? So she can't, even if she gets you in the corner, it's fake. You can't keep doing that. See? The most you can do is something like this. That's it. Which isn't horrendously bad, right? But anybody that knows better or that fights you in a set, eventually they're going to catch on to you're not grabbing them there, so they're just going to block that. which is going to force you to use meter to get in and all of that crap. So it's, long story short, I think you get the point. That's why this crap is gay, is because people can just keep forcing it on you, and especially when you get in the corner, Ryu and other characters can just throw loop you all day long. That's why this is gay. That's why this type of crap is very effing annoying to deal with. That's why it's considered losing the neutral when this situation happens, right? Because now you have to guess, right? So, long story short, Chun Li, she can do drive rush and crouching medium kick the game, right? It's not real. It's not real, right? So, it's not like Ken and other characters in Ryu and stuff. You can't keep doing that too. So there are no throw loops. So this crap loses its impact. Anybody that knows this can just block. If you fight Chun Li, or if you're having problems fighting a Chun Li player, let me tell you something. If you're having problems fighting a Chun Li player, you have problems because that player knows what they're doing. Right? That's why. It's not because of the character. I can promise you that.
What are you waiting for?
But a tip to you, if you're having a hard time, that will probably give that player a heart attack because they're going to lose now, is just block. Don't worry about getting thrown. If they throw you, you're free. They can't loop you. Even in the corner, they can't loop you. So when Chun-Li starts doing all this bullcrap right here, just block. That's all there is to it. Don't worry about, oh man, I don't want to get thrown. Just block. And she can't get plus frames all day. It's not like freaking Sagat that could just keep doing this effing brain dead garbage all day long, right? Like it's not like Sagat, right? It's not like Ken, who can just I don't know the actual sequence that is uninterruptible, but I think you get what I'm trying to impersonate here. It's not like Ken. It's not like Sagat. All day, right? All day. They just do this crap all day long, right? And I'm sure a high-level player would be like, oh, you got to figure out a way to counter it or something like that. That's true. That's true for everything. If something's beating you, you got to find a way to counter it. But the point of this video is that Chun-Li makes it unnecessarily hard to do this. An efficient counter would be to just do it back to them. But I can't. This is the only plus frame move that she has. And you literally have to be right inside of their character model just to get it. You can't chain this more than once unless it's a very specific setup. Right? And it's only +1. So you can't cheese your opponents. You can't catch them. You can't beat them because, oh man, I'm -3 right now and I'm trying to jump or mash out while they're pressing on me. You can't do that with Chun. So you can't do that. You can't skip neutral with Chun-Li. Hasenshu gets blown up easily no matter what form you use. It's super risky to even use this. Considering that if you're using it, it's probably to get through fireballs, which it doesn't do a very good job of doing. You have to arc it perfectly. Where Sagat can do Tiger Knee right in front of the damn thing, and then he's over the fireball, right? So you can't skip neutral. You could try to do this, but like I said, this is fake with it. It doesn't have the same impact. You can't jump. Chun-Li's jump is floaty and god awful. If you're fighting somebody and you try to jump on them, if they are doing anything else, if they're moving, if they're pressing, whether it's a jab, if they crouch, if they do literally anything, this is going to whiff, and you're going to get blown up for doing it. So you can't, on top of the fact that it's easier to react to this floaty jump. Look how much higher she jumps than Ken. All right. Ken lands 43 frames. Chun-Li is 4 frames later. Her jump is floaty. So they have more time to react, and it's harder to place the jumps. All right. Now, obviously, he's standing still, so I can place the jumps pretty well. But if you're fighting somebody, like I said, if they do anything, you're gonna whiff the jumping. I get blown up so many times for trying to jump on people and cross them up with this character. You pretty much can't jump, so you can't cheese people with that. You don't have anything to cheese people with. She's unnecessarily difficult. She has no cheese. She doesn't have anything that you can lean on. Her anti-air is freaking god awful. Because you can't. It's just you have to when you're doing the anti-air, you have to press down, return to neutral, and press down again. You can't shortcut this. So that means if you're blocking, you have to let go of block. You can't just get it. You can't do down back tension kicks or up forward. I mean down forward tension kicks. It has to be down. That's the only way it's gonna work. So you have to stop anything else you're doing when you see your opponent jump. And on top of the fact that you have to stop everything else, including blocking. So if you're playing like this and you anticipate that your opponent's going to jump, what happens a lot of times with me is I'll do this, and then my opponent will do that, or they'll do a drive rush or something like that, right? And then I'm wide open. I'm not blocking because I have to let go of the block to do it, right? So with other characters, you can crouch block with Ken and then just do the Shoryuken. If you see the inputs, I can shortcut this crap easily. I'm not even doing the input correctly, and it's coming out. It's so easy. I just got done playing a few games with Ryu just to test some things out, and I was able to kill a lot of stuff, a lot of neutral skipping bullcrap that people like to do on low elo by just buffering this. That's all I did. I don't know how to play Ryu. All I did was 1, 2, 3 Tatsu to punish people. That's it. And if they tried to skip the neutral, whether it was Bison flying through the air or Kimberly teleporting or something, throw your hand. That's all I had to do. Guile is even better. Guile, if they do anything, Tiger Knee, you can jump in. Anybody that tries to skip neutral, you can check them with Guile. If they try to do any of that stuff. I messed that one up. I didn't charge it long enough. Checks all of it. I was playing a game the other day with Guile against a Diamond 5 Sagat. He had his combos. He had like these max damage combos down and stuff like that stuff. I messed up. It was fine. But I was able to beat this dude by just doing... This is all I did. I kid you not. Nothing crazy with Guile. None of this. Like, none of that crap, right? None of it. All I did was... And I did it on purpose. And I was able to come to find out that the reason why I have such a hard time fighting low elo players and losing to low MR players is because I am fighting Chun Li more than I'm fighting them. If I pick Guile or Ryu, and Guile is not an easy character. His game plan is easy, but his execution requirements to play him at a higher level are insane. In terms of execution and keeping up control of the character, he's way harder than Chun Li, but he's way more efficient than Chun Li. His tools work. You can count on flash kick and crouching heavy punch to keep people from jumping on him. You can. His drive rush game is better than hers, and he's a zoning character. Guile can chase down a fireball better than Chun Li can, and it's freaking insane. It's absolutely insane how much pressure you can put on somebody with Guile off of a fireball versus Chun Li. But back to the main point, right? I've come to the realization and epiphany that I have been fighting Chun Li more than my opponents. Whenever they decide that they want to skip neutral randomly, they are getting a free invitation to put me in a blender because it's unnecessarily hard to stop them from doing that crap. Yes, my own inefficiencies when it comes to like reaction speed are hindering it, but when I use other characters, this stuff is not that hard to do. It's not even against master players, even against Cammy players that just want to do spin knuckle all day. I can just Shoryuken her out of that. It is so hard to check Cammy with this character out of that trap without either getting the wrong move or just being hit out of it. Whereas with Ryu or Ken, all I need to do is just get a Shoryuken ready. That's it. Or Guile, even better, just flash kick her. Right? So it's really hard, and because the whole point of controlling neutral, you got to be able to stop people from jumping. It's really hard to do that when you have this input that requires you to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing. And then on top of that, even if you get the crap out, you might get hit out of it because there's a hole in the kicks. And if there's not a hole in the kicks, you might whiff because the hitbox for this move is strictly the tip of her freaking foot. So it's like a needle going up into the air, whereas Ken and Ryu and Gao, they have this giant like arc force field coming. If you touch any part of them during that animation, you're getting hit. Chun Li, if you manage to clip some part of her that is not her foot, she will miss. And if you do jump, if you jump from a specific angle, there's a good chance that might happen, and they'll recover faster than Chun Li does, and then they get to put you in a blender anyway. It's freaking ridiculous. They keep buffing stupid stuff like this. I don't care about this. Making this safe doesn't matter because all people can do is just mass drive impact through it. You can't look at my inputs. You can't cancel this in the drive impact. If you're fighting, you can't even use this against low elo players at all. This is one of the best pokes in the game, but you can't use it because they mass drive impact all the time. So you're pretty much only using this to try to punish, and even doing that, it's really hard because it's 13 frames. Right? So, and you don't get max damage off of that. The max damage punish will be doing something like off of that, right? Doing some crap into this, right? I'm not going to do the combo, but you get what I mean. So, it's not even the max damage, right? And it's 13 frames. Shimmying with this character is freaking hard. Let me see if I can set this up. Let me see. Wake up reversal. I want you to throw on wake up for me, Ken. I'll do a normal grab. First, I need you to stop blocking. Yeah. Whoops. Now, this might seem to be working. Like, I've trained this, but when I do this crap online to people, even in the same scenario, it whiffs. Because her range is trash on the crouching medium punch compared to somebody like Ken or Ryu. It's not that good, right? It's meaty as free, but the range is not that great. So this whiffs a lot. So I was playing with Ryu, like I said before making this video, and I was able to do something that I normally can't do with Chun Li, and that was shimmy people. I would just knock them down, 1, 2, 3 Tatsu, and then like this. Oh, well, Ken is probably a little different. And then walk back and do that. 10 frame heavy punch that goes really effing far. Very easy to do on reaction, even for somebody with slower reaction speed like myself. The reason why I try to do this is because if they decide to jump, you can buffer this in anti-air them, right? If they try to jump over you or something, right? And it's 6 frames, so you can also react to what they're doing. Like, so you can actually react to the whiff. and do whatever it is that you need to do. And also, if they decide to, oh, he's trying to shimmy me, and they go for a low to try to clip your legs, you can avoid being clipped, right? So that's what this is supposed to be for. But half the time when I'm trying to shimmy with this character online, it misses. That's on top of actually trying to react to this without being mashed on by drive impact or whatever it is. And then if they decide to jump, oh, let me stop doing everything I'm doing. Oh my God, right? I can't just do Tencho kicks. I have to stop blocking and do this and double tap down. No shortcuts or anything like that. So there's a good chance that this crap might whiff, even if you do something like this. See? That happens all the time. It happens all the time. I can barely shimmy with this character. You could also technically shimmy with this, but doing it on reaction, as you can see, is hard. You don't have a lot of time. You could also do something like this. But again, it's not as easy. You have to walk back, crouch, do this, and then don't F up the input for the, for the stage. Right. So you have to do all this crap. And like I said, this is on reaction. So on top of watching out for everything else that you're doing, the immense stress that is placed on the player with this character is just ridiculous. She's unnecessarily difficult. There isn't any additional reward. You don't get more damage. You don't get these crazy setups that really can mind screw your opponent and like turn their mind into putty because how hard the mind games are for them to read. It doesn't do any of that. Chun Li does not give you any extra reward. She is just unnecessarily difficult. She's flashy. Like I said, it's not rewarding per se, but you know that it was you that did it when you beat an opponent. Like if you beat a high master or a grandmaster or something like that, you did that. Wasn't cheese, you did it, right? So there is that, right? So I'm not gonna completely rant on it. Chun Li does have a few decent things, but she's just unnecessarily difficult, man. It's really hard to keep people from skipping the neutral all day, jumping. You have to work significantly harder. Like I said, just picking Ryu and Guy. I don't know how to use Ryu and Guile like that. I have less than a few days in the training room with Guile, and Ryu, I have no training. Ryu, I literally just do this all day to beat people. Even some master ranks. Not people that know what they're doing, obviously, like high masters and stuff, but like people that are like 1500 MR or less. With Ryu, I can just do this all day and beat them with fundamentals. With Guile, it's even easier because if they do anything stupid, they're getting flash kicked, right? And that was the epiphany that I had, is that it's because these players are just skipping the neutral all day. It's giving them such an advantage. And because of how much stress it is trying to use this character, it causes you to lose to people doing this because of how unnecessarily difficult it is. So to all my Chun Li players out there, I'm not going to give up. I know that I'm spewing some venom about this character. I hate her, but at the same time, I love the hell out of her. So I'm going to keep using her. But just keep training and understand that if you just made it to master rank and you're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong and you're losing, it's because of this, the neutral. I'm going to discuss neutral in another video, but if your opponent skips this and you don't check them, they're just going to put you in a blender. And a lot of these master rank players, the low elo ones, the ones that are like less than 1500 MR, they know how to do the big combos that destroy your HP, right? They know how to run the Oki. Actually, that was fake. I'm sorry. Let's do it this way. See, they know how to run Oki on you. They know how to do all that stuff. Akuma players specifically know how to shimmy with the heavy punch, right? That's all Akuma players do. They'll knock you down and then they'll walk back and do their stuff. Right. They know how to do that stuff, but they can't block. A lot of the times when I beat people, when I get frustrated and I'm tired of practicing something or training, I just start running my crap on them and then they just kind of lose because they can't block and they just skip the neutral all day long. They don't know how to play footsies and neutral and stuff. Look, I'm not a footsies god. I'm not going to say I'm a footsies god, but I do know the concepts for actually doing it. So I can play neutral. I've played quite a few players that actually know what they're doing where you can't skip the neutral, and I've been able to actually beat them in the neutral pretty proficiently. So I know how to do this a little bit. But before you can get to this point, you got to stop this trash. And stopping that trash, for me at least, is difficult as crap with this character specifically. And it's an epiphany. I've been fighting Chun Li more than anything. And I'm making this video just for those out there that are struggling trying to figure out why am I having a hard time with this character is because you're fighting Chun Li. We got to find some way to stop them from doing this mess. This is why we're losing. People jumping, people doing Dragon Dash, people doing Tiger Knee, people doing Spin Knuckle on hooligans. That's where we're losing to. And I'm still trying to find a solution to deal with that with this character, right? An efficient one that works for me, right? That's why we're losing to these people. If you're fighting somebody that's high master or higher, there's probably another reason. But if you're fighting somebody that's like 1400 MR, 1300 MR, or they're diamond or platinum and they're not a smurf, they're not some high master just picking Manon just because they feel like chilling. Then you're losing to people skipping neutral. That's what it is. That's the focus. They're not gonna do anything clever with this stuff. They're just going to try to find some way to cheese you, right? And your job is to find a way to stop that crap. I promise you, if you find a way to stop it and you focus on that, you're going to win a lot more games. Even after figuring this out by picking Ryu and Guile and stuff, even though it's still hard with Chun Li, my games against these players are going so much better because I understand what the problem is. I get it. I get it. It's people skipping neutral, and I can't, and I'm having such a hard time checking it with this card. Right. Now I fully understand what it is, and it's not completely my fault. That's just the truth of the matter. I know pros will say that, but you guys are gods, right? Step down from your throne, you know, do the X-Men mind wipe and go back to being a intermediate player for a while. Pick Chun-Li and tell me how you feel about it. Or recall memories when you were trying to get to godhood and you had to struggle deal with stupid crap like that. But back then, pro players probably didn't have to deal with that because skipping neutral wasn't a thing back in Street Fighter 4. So people couldn't just like dash across the screen and just like jump on you, right? That wasn't a. So yeah.
I don't have time
To those that are still struggling with Chun-Li, don't lose heart. It's not completely your fault. You need to understand this because the frustration and stress of using this character affects the gameplay. If you understand that it's not because you're trash that you're losing, it helps you to relax a little bit more and not worry about when you do take L's, right? It's just the truth. Capcom did this character kind of dirty. There are times where I would rather pick Manon, to be honest with you, because Manon can throw out a random sweeper overhead and then you lost a round. And her anti-air, you can't jump over Manon. Her anti-air is easy, it's proficient, and you can depend on it. You don't have to stop blocking. It's easy to do. It's intuitive, right? So it's, yeah, all of that good stuff. So that's pretty much going to be the end of this video. Don't lose heart. Any high-level players that want to say, no, man, you don't know what you're talking about, like, please, by all means, like, just go back to in your mind to being an intermediate player or an intermediate to advanced player or slightly advanced, whatever you want to say, and just think about how it was before you know, when you were struggling to deal with this crap, especially in Street Fighter 6, right? So that's going to be it for this video. To my Chun Li Kung Fu artist, go ahead and keep fighting the good fight. I'm not going to quit on this character. I don't have a reason to. As much as I want to, sometimes I'm too stubborn to do it. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and explain that. And I know I sounded frustrated because this character can be very frustrating to play. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to see if I can find a solution. The good thing about Chun Li is because of how, just because of how difficult she is to use, it forces you to grow in areas faster than other players. Um, like I said, I made it to master rank without drive rushing or using drive impact. I still don't use drive impact unless it's the counter advantage. So it's, you know, it forces you to grow in such a way where like your fundamentals and everything just increase because the character doesn't do anything for you. So that's the good thing about her. But it's just annoying when you're fighting players that clearly don't know what they're doing and you still lose. So, but keep fighting. I'm not going to give up. I hope you don't either. Thank you again for attending to this dojo session. Feel free to like the video if you like it. Leave any comments that you want to leave in the comment section below. If you have any situations with Chun Li that made you just want to pull your hair out, feel free to share those. Like I said, I still love this character, but at the same time, I freaking hate her. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you again for attending, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Take care.